So, my apologies on the background noise, no? Kung may naririnig man po kayo. Hindi na lang pong pansinin. So, a blissful day, Sir Danis, and to my dear classmates. So, before I proceed to our chapter, let me first review the chapter 12, or the Understanding Large-Scale Student Assessment, or LSE. So, in this chapter, we are able to determine what LSA means. So, it is referring to administering tests to a huge number of examinees at the same time. So, here the test data will be processed and later on will be analyzed and then eventually will be reported. And also in this chapter, the nature and uses of large-scale student assessment were discussed up to value added of LSA as well as the conditions for effective LSA implementation. So moving on na tayo no sa chapter 13, which is the last chapter of our book reference. So the chapter 13 titled Development of Large Scale Student Assessment Test. Kung in the chapter 12 we able to determine what LSA means, dito naman we will focused on the development of tests or particulars pertaining to large scale tests. Pero syempre, let me first show you the topic outline as well as the assigned reporters. So, di pa pala ako nagpapakilala, no? I am Princess Saverola and I am responsible for the introduction and overview of the chapter 13. Also, the recapitulation of classroom test development process. And after me, Miss Maria Teresa Yusi will discuss the development process for large-scale tests, while the key steps in the large-scale test development will be discussed by Miss Hoshaina Volante, followed by Miss Rowena Tendedilla, who is assigned to talk about establishing validity tests. And the last reporter, the only boy, Mr. Leoned Andrew Tumbaga, will thoroughly discuss estimating reliability of large-scale tests. For the intended learning outcome or the objective, the learners must trace the development process of large-scale assessment tests. So dito na tayo ngayon sa aking pinaka-topic, review of classroom test development. Kaya siya review, no, kasi on the previous chapters, as far as I remember, chapters 7 to 9, natakal na ito. And isa-isa itong naturo sa atin ng assigned reporters. So, before I proceed to the first phase, no, syempre may konting pangkiliti tayo ng utak. Will you guess the jumbled word? And syempre, may bigyan ko ng timer para lang magising tayo, no? So, the first phase, I will give you 15 seconds to answer. Kaya ba yan? Kaya naman yan. Okay? Kaya natin yan. The timer starts now. Nahuhulaan na ba natin? Nagkakaroon na ba tayo ng wild guess kung ano yung first phase? Okay, timer starts. Time's up. Sorry. So, ano nga ba yung first phase? The first phase will be planning. So, the planning, it consists of the purpose of the test or the objective, followed by the learning outcomes, and also the test blueprint. So later on, no, I will review each phrases. Review lang tayo kasi na-discuss na nga ito. And kaya mahalaga siyang i-recap kasi para makagawa tayo ng or makagawa tayo ng validated developed test as a teacher. So, in your screen right now is the next phase. Siyempre, papahulaan ko yan. Lahat bigay, charot, game. For the next phase, syempre 15 seconds ulit tayo. Medyo mahaba siya, pero kayang-kaya natin yan. Walang susuko, okay? So, tatandaan natin na yung first phase is planning. And the next one is, will you guess? Kaya natin yan. Matatalino tayong mga teachers. I believe in you. Time's up. So the next phase is item construction. May nakahula ba? Hopefully, no. So the item construction is performed by the classroom teacher following a table of specification, while the succeeding phase. Okay, last one na to. Last one na. Alam ko nahihirapan na kayo eh. Timer starts now. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. Ano nga ba tong last phase? So the last phase will be review and revision. It concerns on the improvement of the test. And it has two categories. So ito yung una, judgmental approach. And the next one is the empirical approach. Isa-isahin nga natin to kung ano tong three phases na to. Remember, may tatlo tayong phases Excuse me. The planning phase, ito na yon. Pangalawa is, ano yung pangalawa? Item construction phase. The last one is the review and revision phase. So, planning phase. This is where the purpose of the test is identified, as well as the learning outcome, and also the table for specification is prepared. Ito muna tayo sa identifying purpose of the test. Here, the test is setting an objective in order to know the knowledge of students where it can be useful to the teachers for them to improve their teaching style and methodologies in providing a good education for our students. While specifying the learning outcomes, it is about what are the operatives, processes, skills the students can demonstrate, the bigger and the new ideas they can form and derive, and innovative products they can create and will eventually apply into the real life situation. So sa pag-prepare naman ng blueprint, it can be in terms of other meaning ng blueprint is map or outline. So it includes the content, thinking skills, specific learning targets, and giving emphasis on the number of item points of test. So commonly, it is set up in a two-way table specification or TOS, na kung saan it spells out what will be the test, what will be tested rather, and how it will be tested to obtain information needed. Moving on to the next phase, the item construction phase. So this is where the test is being formulated following the appropriate item format depending on the objective. So generally, there are various types of tests. So as you can see in your screen, there are three. The first is supply type. So supply type can be in terms of complete a sentence. So for example, blank is the highest mountain in the world. And the next one is the short answer. Yung short answer para din siya completion, pero walang blank. Parang one almost isa lang din yung sagot. So for example tayo, who wrote No Limitang Hire? Sinasagot niya yung what, who, where, ganyan. May specific na sagot. So while the essay restricted and essay extended, ito naman yung the students will write their own answer based on the questions in essay form. Siyempre dito may rubric si teacher kung paano niya gigradean yung essay. While the selection type can be in binary choice. Ano nga ba yung binary choice or tinatawag din natin alternate form? It can be in terms of true or false, right or wrong, and sa selection type, meron ding multiple choice. So, typically, ito yung ABCD type ng questions. So, while the matching type naman, ito yung selecting, usually may column. Column A is for the question, while the column B is for the answer. So, please do remember that in formulating a matching type, lagi nating sasobrahan yung mga sagot. Kasi ito natin malalaman kung si student ba ay nag-aaral, hindi hinuhulaan. Sobrahan mo ng kahit isa or dalawa. So, yung performance type, ito naman yung type of test pertaining to pencil, paper, and pencil. Identification, alam natin yan. Simulated performance, and also work sample. Okay. So for the last phase, which is also known as the review phase, this is the stage wherein teachers will evaluate or assess the test if it is aligned with the instructional competencies in order to develop and improve the test itself. So the review and revision phase, mayroon tong two approaches. The first one is the judgmental item improvement, and the second one is empirically based procedures. So dun muna tayo sa judgmental item improvement. So yung judges dito are humans. Tao. They are judging in the test items. So the judges here are the teachers themselves who know exactly what the test is for, the instructional outcomes to be assessed, and the item level of difficulty appropriate for his or her class. Pati na rin yung peer review or the colleagues who are familiar with a curriculum standard rather, for the target grade level, the subject matter content, and the ability of the student. Eh, syempre, student review is student involvement din kailangan dito. So, the student review is needed for them to perceive the difficulties based on the experiences of the student. So, pinapractice to sa mga school ngayon, no? To improve the classroom test. So, on the other hand, yung empirical based procedures, yung kanina is human judgment. Dito may certain or specific computation, parang ganun. May pinagbabasihan siya, may criterion siya. Mga indices siya, kumbaga. So, the test developers refer to technical processes in analyzing the data for them to obtain the correct or the appropriate things in each item in the test. They use difficulty index, discrimination index, distractor analysis, and sensitivity to instruction index. So, review lang natin yung tatlong phases. Kung ano-ano nga ba yun in developing a test. So, una is the planning phase, which specifies the identify the purpose of the test, the learning outcomes to be assessed, and preparation of test specification. So the second phase is the item construction phase, is composing, creating, or forming a pool of items. While the last phase is the review phase. Is this is intended for the revision and improvement of test. Huwag natin siya kakalimutan, ha? So that will be my part. Thank you for listening. And ngayon, let's move to the next reporter for her topic with si Miss Maria Teresa Lucy. Thank you so much and God bless you all.